Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, presented by Draftkings Sportsbook, the number one rated sportsbook app out there. I'm your host, Rudo, with a fun episode today. I'm not in Arizona, but AJ Haefele is live from the PHNX studio, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Petey, Steve Peters. How you doing? Good to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Rudo, fantastic to finally meet you. This is like, you guys are kind of mythical around PHNX. You're the gold standard of what this platform has to offer. I've been watching your shows. I'm trying to learn. Rudo, love the background. I took a lot of heat from my background. Thank you for setting that bar just a little bit lower for me.
Oh, they'll get used to it. Give them time.
And I did wear my Avs royal blue today, so I'm trying to help the crossover event.
Fitting those ugly jersey numbers a little bit, maybe, but we appreciate you coming on.
How do you read the 5s and 7s? It's hard. Like, that was part of my job. And the Avs jerseys, you can't tell. 3, 5, 7s. It's really hard to read the numbers on the back of the jersey when you're scouting that team. True story.
It's all part of the plan. Got to keep everyone confused. That's the way to.
Apparently. just in case you ever wanted to confuse JT Kuemper with Gabe Bork.
Exactly.
Super easy to do.
See? There you go.
So should be a fun one. Before we get into today's show, we do have our DraftKings pick of the week. I went with the DraftKings deal. They have a deal for week 2 where if you do a same game parlay for $25 or less, you get your money back if you lose. So it's a free $25 bet, basically. I took the Broncos to win over the Jags and the over of, I think it was 45.5. So that's my pick of the week. I think it's an easy dub because the Jags suck. Let's face it. I don't know how do people feel about the Cardinals in Arizona?
They're on fire over the Cardinals right now. I mean, honestly, this is the team, high expectations in the Valley. You look at the Valley sports scene right now, and for those, the Diamondbacks struggling, the Coyotes are rebuilding at best. All hopes are on the Suns and Cardinals, and so far 1-0. They're excited.
All right, so off to a good start there. If you want to bet on the Cards, you can do that from DraftKings as well. So check them out now. Download that top-rated DraftKings
Vikings this
app.
Weekend, so take the Cardinals over the Vikings. I think it's 3.5 right now. They'll cover the spread.
There you go. Vikings not going to do it. Cover at least. Let's go. Hit up DraftKings Sportsbook today. Use that app. Down code DNVR when you get it. Sign up. You can get up to $200 in free bets. All you have to do is bet $1 on a week 2 football game. It's super easy. You don't even have to get the bet correct. They'll just give you $200 for signing up and doing it with code DNVR. Might as well. Then you just have money to play with and can bet on whatever you want. Check them out today. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, let's get into the show proper. We're going to be talking about Darcy Kuemper quite a bit today. I'm sure we'll get into Arizona, maybe a little bit of the rookie tournament as well. But Petey, you were the video coach while Kuemper was here for Arizona for at least a little while. So I'm sure you've got lots of footage on it. Maybe you have the secret to goaltending that AJ and I lack a little bit, because sometimes we're shooting in the dark when it comes to goaltender. So what do you got for us?
You know, it's funny because that's one of the areas that even coaches stumble on. Like, head coaches will tell you, I don't know my goaltender, leave it to the goaltending coach. One of the problems we've had in Arizona, and you saw with Darcy Kuemper, Antti Raanta over the last 2 and 3 seasons, was their ability to stay healthy. And I know as an Avs fan, it has to be a concern. Darcy Kuemper played 27 games last year. You need him to play. Your franchise has dealt with injured goalies over the last few seasons too. And if your top guy's not playing, you're not winning in the end. I mean, you can win a couple games during the season, but when you're playing in April, May, and June, your starters need to be buzzing. So I think the key for Kuemper, one of the problems here, and I wanted to assuage some of the fears, is in Arizona, the goaltender had to carry the team. Whether that was Antti Raanta at the time when he was playing hot, or it was Darcy Kuemper when he was hot. And the tendency here was to ride those guys. At one point, Adin Hill played 35 straight games. Well, you can't. You can't play that many games. So I think for Avs fans, the one thing to look at early in the year is look at how Darcy Kuemper is being managed. He can't play 5, 6, 7 in a row to start the season. I think Frankie's going to have to come in, and he's going to have to play a lot of games this year, at least early. You're like one out of every 3 or 4, because you need Darcy Kuemper playing his best hockey in May.
You also, I mean, with Frankie missing all of last year, you need to get the rust off of him too. Like you need to get him into the rhythm of things as well. It's been a long. We haven't seen him since the playoff series against Dallas in the Edmonton bubble.
Yeah, and you look at him, and the juggling act that you had to put on last year through the goalies that were in and out, and it was a long year of Avalanche goalies through that door.
Yeah.
First of all, Darcy Kuemper's a really good goaltender.
Yeah.
Let's put that aside first. He can play. The kid's good, and he carries himself like a number one. He takes the responsibility of a number one goaltender. In the locker room, it's me. It's my fault. I did that. It's not, my defenseman didn't do that, or the team. No, it's me. It's my job. And I think teams, players, teammates respect that kind of an attitude out of a goaltender. So that's an encouraging thing to look for an Avs fan. The kid can play. One thing that will be an adjustment for him is he's not going to face 35 and 40 shots a night. At least I don't think so. You're hoping he doesn't. TBD, I guess.
I guess barring a major change from last year.
Right. Like you gave up the fewest shots in the league last year. He's not going to face as many shots. The key to Darcy Kuemper is he needs to make that 1 or 2 saves that change the game. When the game's 0-0 or it's 1-0 or 2-1 and it's tight, and you give up a breakaway because Cale Makar is making an offensive play and he leaves the blue line, he's got to make that save. That's where the value of Darcy Kuemper is going to come in. He needs to make that 1 or 2 saves that you need him to make. He's not going to need to make 30, 40, 50. He's going to make 22, 24, but he's got to make the 2 that make the difference in the game, and he can do that.
Yeah, I think the best example of that was Game 5 of the Vegas series, where they have a 2-0 lead going into the third period, and 2 turnovers end up in the back of the net. You get one of those saves, the Avs win that game.
And we talk about, and I know the fan base loves Grubauer. Gruby's well liked there, and Vezina numbers are absolutely real.
He did a good job last year.
But those are the saves you got to make.
Yeah.
If you want to win a Stanley Cup, you got to make those saves.
It wasn't like any of those goals were particularly soft goals or
they're
anything.
Not his fault.
It was just you needed that. You literally had Marc-Andre Fleury on the other end
who was
doing
lights out,
everything imaginable to keep from giving up that third goal and getting buried in that game. And Grubauer in that third period just could not quite.
Yeah.
It's Alex Tuck with a deflection, the bouncing puck.
Yeah.
He knocks it out of the air, and Grubauer's just guessing on
it. Not at fault, but
right. Like you're not looking at Grubauer and thinking you have to stop that, but you're also saying you're our number one goaltender on the President's Trophy winning team. You have to stop that.
And that's, you look at the Montreal Canadiens in the finals last year. They're not there if not for Carey Price doing the same thing. I know he didn't perform to that level in the finals, but to get there, he needed to make the save that you need to make.
Yeah.
And so Darcy Kuemper, I believe, can make that save. I know he struggled a little bit last year. There were injury problems, but he goes to the World Championship, and I think it rejuvenated his career by winning the gold medal for Canada. Again, it helped his confidence. He put himself back to where he was a few years prior, where he carried the mail for the Coyotes. No, you saw him in the playoffs in the bubble. 53 saves.
So after the bubble, with the Grubauer season-ending injury, there was a lot of uncertainty. What's next?
Yeah.
Rudo and I talked about, hey, maybe they should just trade for Darcy Kuemper now.
Yeah.
And not wait a year to do it, with the uncertainty. And because it was off of the back of that series where that series was only remotely interesting because Darcy Kuemper was awesome in the first half of it.
And he was really good. And what surprised us, too, looking at the Avs, after that series was over, when Grubauer did get hurt and they had to go to other goaltenders, from the outside looking in, we were going, they need to make a change. Like they need to get more help. If not, just get another solid backup. If not, keep Grubauer, but add to that. I think people around the league were fairly surprised that there wasn't an addition there.
Okay, I'm not sure if they can hear me, but hey, Rudo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there was just a little quick audio issue, and people just got really scared, including Rudo.
Yeah, only slightly terrifying. Still haven't recovered.
We do have a super chat, though, from Ping King, so I want to get to that. He says, just blame AJ, lol. Hopefully he can get in-person player interviews this year.
So, dream big. But early conversations with PR are not super encouraging.
I'm really sorry to all the headphone users.
See, and so AJ, come to Arizona. You can. No one will be in the building, first of all, to watch the games. Not because of COVID, just because they're not going to be there to watch. If you want to meet with, they'll probably let you take players out to dinner if you're going to give them PR here.
Great.
Like that's how starved for attention this organization is, and there's just no one covering them.
Jacob Chikrin and I can be BFFs.
There you go. There you go.
It'll be great.
That kid can play, by the way. I mean,
Connor Timmons and I can continue being
exactly.
BFFs. He's been on the pod before.
So what do we expect out of Connor Timmons?
Well, I guess it would depend on what role he's going to play for you guys, but for the Coyotes. But
I think they've got him slotted in probably in the 4-hole right now.
In time, that's where he should definitely get to. I don't know where he starts, but Timmons I think will be good, especially because he can just play. He doesn't have to worry about.
And really, that's Timmons is the piece that got Darcy Kuemper to Colorado, because there were other teams that were offering a first for Kuemper, and it was Connor Timmons that tipped the scales in favor of Colorado, that got him Kuemper to your lovely city.
Yeah. Well,
before AJ starts to cry, I wanna continue this Kuemper conversation. You kind of alluded to him making those one or two big saves, a conversation a lot of people have about Colorado's goaltending. Not necessarily true, but especially in the years of Varley, a lot of people felt like, oh, he's at his best when he is facing a lot of shots. So is Kuemper one of those goalies that can keep himself in a game when he's facing? We saw a stretch last year where the Avs didn't even give up 20 shots in a handful of games.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see that. And Rudo, you've seen enough games to know that it's almost cliche. Like, well, he's in the game. The goalie's in the game now. Well, yeah, it's 40, 50 shots. You're in the game. I get it. Yeah, Darcy Kuemper is focused. He studies the game. He's prepared for the game. I don't have concerns about that at all. I really don't. Now, again, who knows how his season is going to progress. He hasn't played behind a team like this in a long time. Like he had the Coyotes. Before that, he was a backup in LA, Minnesota.
It's really Minnesota.
He wasn't quite ready there to be the guy. So I don't know. He hasn't had that experience other than, Team Canada. Even look at the roster he had for that World Championship. That wasn't a world beater either.
I'm sorry.
What happened, Allie?
It was just so funny. Ryan just said he went full Mr. Krabs meme. They said you've entered the fourth dimension from that sound. I'm so sorry to everyone that
See,
was
we
so
missed out on the
terrible.
joke.
It was just a really loud noise for them.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah. And by the way, can we talk about what you just did? Is that a thing? Or is that not? We can't talk.
What?
Like your journey.
Oh, you want to talk about it?
AJ hasn't slept.
Yeah, it took me an entire day to drive down here.
He drove. They do have planes. I don't know if he knew. We have an airport in Phoenix, but he drove and literally came from the highway to the studio.
Yeah,
that's dedication. You haven't slept. That's impressive. Sorry.
I mean, traffic's wild out there.
When you got to talk hockey, you got to talk hockey.
I know. Let's talk hockey. Love talking hockey. So Avs fans should be excited. He can do those things, but he can also, there are going to be nights, whether it's injuries or, the Super 3 aren't performing, and you're going to give up shots. Those nights do happen, and he can perform in those 30, 40 save nights as well. I think it's an interesting piece that I think makes this team better.
Yeah. They're going to definitely need him, especially if they actually think they're going to play Curtis McDermott and get away with it.
Yeah. AJ and I talked about Curtis McDermott. He's a Pacific Division guy that the Coyotes have seen through development camp. I remember him playing in these development camps. He brings an element that the Avalanche are sorely lacking right now. If you need that element, I don't know if you do because you skate away and you're faster than everybody, but if you need to be a little tougher, the kid's a tough kid.
He's going to look really scary in his suit when he's sitting in the stands. He's really going to strike fear into the hearts of opposing puck carriers.
Yeah.
Sitting in the 14th row.
There will be games that he's just injury alone. Like he's going to play.
Yeah, he'll help.
And he is a tough player that brings a different element.
They also want to play him at forward, so he'll get into the lineup.
Really?
Yep.
That's creative thinking right there.
I mean, the toughness is great if it's not costing you 2 goals a game, right? But
right. Yeah, and it depends if you're looking at his ice time and who he's paired with. There's a lot of intangibles with that. But right now, the Colorado back end, if Eric Johnson is back, there's no room for him. You
Yeah,
know?
That's the hope.
exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if Eric
I'm
Johnson's
really
healthy.
2 injuries in, and they're going to have a third pairing of Jack Johnson, Curtis McDermott.
Yeah, then you'll need Darcy Kuemper, and that's why you got him. Again,
Has-
you go to your DraftKings Sportsbook app, and who's favored to win the Stanley Cup? Your hometown Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
before the puck drops on
We
October
lived that
12th,
last year, though, and the Avs got significantly
But
worse. over
go
the
back and watch
offseason,
that series
so-
against Vegas. That first 2 games, you're like, who's going to stop this team? Like how quick it goes from winning 6 straight to losing 4 straight, which they didn't do all season, and then you're sitting at home watching. I don't know. Like I'm a Coyotes fan. There was they teased the playoffs for a few weeks there, but they were not going to make the playoffs. And you guys, that's a couple of tough nights at the DNVR bar, like for sure. Like that's hard to take that season. So this year, the window only stays open for so long.
Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh's window's closing. Washington's window's closing. Your window's wide open.
I mean,
it's now.
Washington has arguably the greatest goal scorer ever, and they got 1 cup out of it. It's really, really hard to win
Right.
the thing.
Unbelievably, everything's got to go right. We talked about before. You need to draft well, develop well, surround those drafted and developed players with the surrounding cast that can play, get a really good goaltender, and then have a coach that can make adjustments.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you still need some luck. So it's hard. And luckily, you've come from a city that's had 2 parades. You know, we've won 1 series in this city. In 2012, we went to the Western Finals. Other than that, there's no series wins. So
Yeah.
you have you've had the parade. So hopefully you get your 3rd.
Parades are cool. It's true. Parades are cool.
I hope.
We can continue the hockey talk, but I do think that Phoenix needs the full Rudo experience here because it doesn't matter if you're in Denver or you're in Phoenix. When the pants come off, nobody wants to see a cactus down there, okay? You got to make sure it's looking high and tight, looking clean. So go over to Manscaped, get your 20% off with code DNVR, and get the perfect package 4.0. Jump on it, turn that cactus into whatever you want to turn it into. That's the magic of manscaping. You can turn it into a rose. You could turn it into a beautiful bush. You could be baby bottom smooth. It doesn't matter. All right. The option is yours. Go get it with Manscaped. You get free shipping as well. Again, with that DNVR code. And then for those of you in Denver, hit up Strava Craft Coffee, the CBD infused coffee that has really changed lives. It helps with joint pain, migraines, a bunch of other aches and pains as well. You can get that cold brew down at the DNVR bar or get 25% off when you use code DNVR25 for your first purchase online. Then after all that, you can hit us up at thednvr.com. Great time to get yourself an annual membership. Not only do you get access to all of our content, but you get a free shirt as well. Access to the DNVR Lounge where you can come hang out and talk hockey with us all the time. Bunch of other awesome stuff too. Check out PHNX if you're one of the Arizona Phoenix people. They're doing all the same stuff we are. It's a super awesome time there. Let me tell you, the Coyotes part of their lounge is popping.
I was gonna
They're
say,
always
I know.
jacked.
rumor has it that's a feisty group.
I know, and I'm sure they're listening right now. There's a few DNVR guys popping into our chat that kind of stirring it up a little bit. So we'll
Talking
see.
about you, Spencer.
Yeah, we are, Spencer.
We
are.
Everybody knows it's Spence for sure. So
Yeah.
check out their lounge as well. Hit us up either way for Denver or Phoenix sports.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be
exactly
a
right.
hard year to be in our lounge. I have a feeling.
I mean,
Group therapy. That's what it is.
Exactly.
it's not a hard year to be a Coyotes fan. You have no expectations, and
Yeah.
every loss is a win, and every win is a double win.
I-
So
if they can embrace that, if the fans can embrace standings upside down,
yeah.
honestly, if you could just go to sleep for the year and see where the ping pong ball lands, there is the
Well,
gold at the end of the rainbow. It's there.
They're bailed out now because
Yeah.
no longer do you have to sit there and look at 54% odds when you finish in last place of you getting the 4th overall pick.
Yeah.
They're bailed out. Their problems are over.
Yeah.
They just don't. Coyotes fans just don't realize that their problems are actually over. The NHL solved them
Yeah.
because the boo-hoo, the Red Wings finished in last place and got the 4th overall pick. So we had to make changes. Although it happened to Colorado twice, and the league just went, damn, that sucks.
I will say,
and it ended up great, but still.
I worked for this organization for 23 years. We've had some really bad teams. And the year prior to the McDavid-Eichel draft, we were bad.
Yeah.
And you look at that team, and it was so difficult. And I know the Avs fans have been through this too. But when the management staff doesn't even come down to the coach's room anymore because they want to lose, and the coach is paid to win, and there isn't a coach in the National Hockey League that understands tanking. I don't accept that from anybody, and they just don't.
Tanking is a management and a fan base
100%.
thing. It is not a reality for players. It's not a reality for coaches who may only get this one opportunity to do it.
They're paid to win.
You look at a guy like Jared Bednar, 16, 17. He thought, and he said this before, he thought that was going to be the only year he got to be an NHL coach. And they were god-awful, and he was worried. And the Avs could have justifiably moved on. After a 60-loss season, nobody would have blinked had they decided to move on. And Jared Bednar never coaches in the NHL again.
Right.
And at this point, given how things have gone, Jared Bednar will get a head coaching gig after whenever his Avs tenure ends.
Yep.
He will get a head coaching gig that same offseason, no questions asked.
Speaking of Bednar, what is his shelf life in Colorado if they don't win?
How does that sausage get made? Is always the question that I ask. How does it go? Because if they if they go in and they lose 4-2 in the first round, he's got to go.
Yeah,
I don't care how that sausage. I don't care if Nathan McKinnon's not playing. You go in there and you lose in the first round. You got to go. It's done.
See, I think Pete DeBoer and Jared Bednar are in similar situations. They have two very good teams.
Yeah.
They have teams that have, you look at Vegas has been in the conference finals 3 years, but if they don't perform past that this year, is DeBoer gone? And Bednar, there's another guy. You've got the best team in hockey now. This is the third year in a row. What is success? Is it if you don't make it to the Western Finals? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've heard great things about him. I think he's well liked in the room. I think he's a good
very
coach.
well liked by his players.
But it happens in every hockey team since the history of the game. Somebody's going to get fired. Yeah. It's either going to be the general manager or the head coach because you can't fire 23 players. So somebody's going to have to go at some point.
You're not firing Joe Sakic.
There is the point.
Yeah.
So
like Bednar's the obvious scapegoat there.
Yeah, and again, we're not saying that this is the path
for
the 21-22 season.
Sure.
The path right now is rosy and everything's great.
Yeah,
but,
well, maybe from the outside.
Yeah, but it doesn't always end that way.
I would say in the middle of the storm, most people, the odds got worse. They've lost in the second row 3 years in the second round 3 years in a row. And like it's weird for that to be a negative that they're one of the only teams that consistently gets out of the first round.
Right.
But then they can't get past it. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter the context of how it happened. Like it does, but it doesn't. This is a results-based business. And the fact that they lost because in the second round to a team they probably shouldn't have because they were playing Michael Hutchinson in net, like guess what? It didn't matter. They had a 1-goal lead with 4 minutes to play in Game 7. You should have closed it out. Yeah. They couldn't hold the lead for 15 seconds. Like with Michael Hutchinson in net, who sucks. Like he's not an NHL goaltender. He is a like third goaltender. He was perfectly positioned, and that's just life.
Yeah.
I
Nobody's
think Vegas
sorry for the Avs.
is an interesting example too, right? Because they have Pete DeBoer now, and nothing changed for them, right? They're still stuck at the same point they were before DeBoer. So
and you look at maybe even the Avs losing to Vegas in the second round is a bummer, but like Vegas was great.
It's a good hockey team.
But Vegas losing to Montreal is a huge failure.
Yeah,
that's a huge failure,
without question. And you look at their path to the Cup Finals for the Montreal Canadiens. That you can say that for every team they faced along the way. Like you've got to beat Montreal. And when they finally got to Vegas, you go, "Oh, Vegas is going to beat them." Like they're okay. Toronto, it's the rivalry, but Vegas is going to beat them.
Yeah,
like, this isn't going to maybe 5 games.
Yeah.
Well, now Vegas is sitting at home, and again, it's always people don't. Somebody's going to get fired.
Yeah.
Every coach that ever coaches in this league, rarely do they retire. You're gonna get fired. I don't care if
Yeah.
you win or not. Barry Trotz wins, you get fired. Like what? It's
Yeah,
happening.
Barry Trotz had like the out, right? Because they didn't extend his contract. Like it expired. He wins the cup. For some inexplicable reason, completely comfortable just letting him leave.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's going to happen, and I think on paper, and we've done the preview shows. Both of us are going to have those upcoming. I've got the Avs to win the cup. I really do. I think the Darcy Kuemper piece is a piece that they needed to add.
Yeah.
Their back end, as long as they can stay healthy, that back end is dangerous. Offensively dangerous. They do need to improve on those younger players' ability to defend.
Yep.
And you're gonna have to find those pieces, and like a Brendan Saad, those role guys. They're gonna have to find who that guy is this season, because you need that to win. Somebody's gonna surprise you and go, okay, your third line winger, your fourth line grinder. Those guys propel you through an 82-game season to help you win.
It'd be great when Andre Burakovsky shows up in the postseason next year.
Exactly. That's the kind of player that's got to
really
play.
help.
That's a guy that's got to play.
Yeah.
So
a great point from Luke in our chat here, saying DeBoer could never get over the hump in San Jose either, as far as Vegas is concerned. Petey, Arizona is moving to the Central Division this year. So a question for you, would Arizona rather be in Vegas's division or the Avs division?
Without question, like it's unanimous, keep them in the Pacific this season, the weak Pacific. Everything is cyclical in this league. Everybody goes through it, right?
I mean, given their expectations and given 8 picks in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. If you can look at it from the bottom up again, see, I keep forgetting that.
Putting them in the Central probably does them a favor because they're not stealing games against LA and Anaheim.
They are last in the Central by 20 points.
Oh, you are.
Like I saw the points, the season points on DraftKings. I'm taking the under. Like right now, they've got Carter Hutton as their starting goalie, who played 11 games, lost 10 of them. The Central Division to me right now is, again, within divisions, you get teams on the rise and on the decline. The Pacific Division on a whole, you've got all 3 California teams that aren't ready to win. Yeah. You've got Edmonton, who have their 2 premier players, don't have the surrounding cast to win. And you've got Vegas, who's above head and shoulders of everybody else. I think Calgary is going to be 3-4. Seattle, I don't like their team right now, but they might be in the playoff conversation because no one else is. You go to the Central. Man, Minnesota's still a good hockey team. I think they're still on the rise. They're going in that direction. Nashville, I think, is going to have a tough year, but St. Louis, they're not happy with their season. You got Colorado's an unbelievable hockey team we've talked about forever. Winnipeg, I mean, I don't know where the Coyotes are going to win. I really don't. Who's the easy win? Chicago used to be for a time, but you had Seth Jones. You bring in Marc-Andre Fleury. Jonathan Taves is supposed to play this year, and Patrick Kane had one of his best years last year. Yep. So where are the wins coming for the Coyotes? I have absolutely no idea.
Unfortunately, Arizona is the easy game in the Central, I think.
Well, yeah, without a doubt. And a nice place to visit in the winter. So they do have that. Yeah,
so
Rudo, you got to come down.
It's like 115 degrees outside.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to come down. I was going to come down for this, but I am the best man at this guy's wedding and his bachelor parties this weekend, so couldn't do it.
Can I ask you guys a question? And I just thought about this, and I know it's off topic, but the Coyotes don't play the Avalanche until January 14th and 15th, back-to-back, home and home. So from you two guys, strictly DNVR employees, how does that work? Like it's back-to-back post-game at the bar?
Maybe
it depends. I mean, we'll be alive post game, very late
back to back.
It doesn't matter. And then
no questions asked. We go live after every game.
Okay, I'm still learning. I haven't done a post game. I don't know. We work at 1 in the afternoon here, and I'm done. So just checking.
Yeah, that's going to become 1 in the morning real quick for you. Don't worry.
The nice thing about being out of the Pacific is there goes that.
I know.
There goes that start time.
Those 11:30 starts. So next question, again, personal off topic. It's 11 o'clock at night. The game just got over. You're either sitting at a bar or at home. May I crack open a beer?
Oh,
yes. We drink on the pod all the time. Or at least I do.
AJ's like, do you know Rudo?
Okay, I just ask it. Again, these are the things I need to know.
Between people calling him Brudo and Rubro.
Wow. Wow.
Also, we're not your keeper, man.
I know. I just asking.
Look,
just asking.
You do you,
Sometimes
buddy.
it's 3 p.m. on a Friday and we're live and a man just needs a beer, okay?
Well, I have
Whatever
seen the
happened,
tailgate show with RK and
Oh,
Dre.
dude,
and
that's
they,
a whole nother
boy,
adventure
that's
there.
a-
Yeah.
that's
a-
early. Like that's even early for me.
That's a
like,
different animal.
9:30
9:30
in the morning.
and they're doing tequila shots. Well,
yeah,
it's Allie's dream, but it's my nightmare.
I do draw that. I did see Ali on the party bus.
Ooh.
Whatever you want to call them.
Okay, I got my personal stuff out of the way. Thank you, Rudo. Sorry.
Of course.
Didn't mean to ruin
Anytime.
your
No.
flow.
No. These are the parts of the show that I love. Like, yes, we're here to talk about hockey, but AJ and I will tangent about anything if that's what the chat wants. Like,
You know, and it's funny because you look at what's happening at DNVR and at PHNX, specifically with the hockey crowd, it's just different. And unless you
Yep.
are one of those people and
Yeah.
you don't quite get it, you're a hockey guy or you're not,
Yeah.
Yep.
or a hockey girl or not. You know,
It's-
if you're rabid about hockey, you're in it. And it just, I think people here are somewhat shocked that the Coyotes t-shirt is the top seller in the store. Well,
very
because
predictable.
hockey fans,
that was the least shocking thing to
Yeah.
us
Really?
over here. Yeah.
Well, it's not for us. We're part of the hockey community. We live and breathe hockey. And
Yeah.
we understand that hockey fans are a different level of passionate than others. And it's not a disparaging remark on other
Not at all.
sports fans.
No.
I'm not trying to take down Suns fans or anything. It's just that
Yep.
hockey,
Denver fans should clearly not do that. We've something for.
hockey.
Hey,
Sorry.
hey.
Sorry.
No,
Shit.
like it's all look,
Sorry.
man. It's all
Okay.
good and well, man.
No, you're right.
Like enjoy being up there while it.
I don't. I'm a hockey guy. I don't.
It's-
How many
it's-
basketball games do you think I've watched?
Life is temporary, man.
How many in my lifetime? How many? I worked for a hockey team for 20. Do you think I
Yeah.
watched basketball?
I don't think you have time.
Of course.
You can watch baseball though.
Yeah, I do. I love baseball.
Me too.
Love baseball.
We do have some questions from the comments here. What is the website that I can stream the Dev tournament on?
The
Team
The-
websites.
the
The
team
Arizona
websites.
Coyotes website
Yeah,
for
the
their
Coyotes
games,
are
the
streaming
Avs
all their
website.
games on ArizonaCoyotes.com.
yeah, all the teams,
Yeah.
all the teams' games are streamed on their own teams' websites.
And then we
Yep.
have Evan here saying jean shorts are required for post game shows. PD, are you ready for
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
shorts?
I'm still easing into that. I'm
You
still
gotta,
golf
you gotta
shirt.
figure
I
out
know.
your thing though, because they want me to wear banana pants. Rudo wears shorts.
I'm trying. I'm
You
trying.
Gotta, you
I
gotta
took
find your niche.
no tie though. I took the tie off. I'm golf shirting it right now.
Your
Learn-
community
For now.
will decide your niche.
Yeah,
I know.
they'll decide and learn from my mistake. All right, set the super chat bar very high.
Very
Yeah.
high. Okay.
Yeah, because we had $100 for Rudo to wear jorts, and I think we got $300.
Seriously?
Yeah, it
from
happened
that.
immediately.
Immediately.
It was
The
so
Wow.
community was like, boom,
Rudo.
done.
See what you have become a legend here already, Rudo. I'm telling you.
I don't know if it's for the right reasons, unfortunately. But,
Legend. There's no wrong reason to be a legend, bud.
all right, fair enough.
And
Fair
then
enough.
Evan said, don't sit in front of a couch. That's my thing. And Evan said, we're built different. So
Yeah.
go big, banana jorts in front of a couch is what some of the audience
Outstanding.
is
All right.
saying.
Can't wait.
So after that Suns and 4 comment, I do need to,
No, and I
wash
apologize.
my mouth out a little bit, but you know. So hit up Green Mountain Dental Group. They'll take care of any of those Suns cavities in your teeth. All right, they'll get you through that. Just 15 minutes from downtown at Denver, over in Lakewood. Okay, that was a weird sound effect. Go to them. Everyone who switched has said they loved them. You can get a free Sonicare toothbrush as well when you schedule a cleaning, X-ray, and exam with them. They just want you to take care of your teeth. Free Sonicare toothbrush, electric toothbrush makes that a whole lot easier for you. So check out Green Mountain Dental Group today, and they will take care of all of your teeth for you. After that, go on over, buy yourself a house in Colorado. It's really hard to do right now, but that's why we have Chevalier Mortgage. They will help you navigate the ridiculous waters of buying a home in Colorado. You can hit up both Mike and Virginia at DNVRmortgage.com. They'll give you a free consultation and give you a shot to win some free DNVR merch as well. So hit them up, get yourself scheduled for that. Mike is a certified financial planner, so he actually will look at your entire financial picture instead of just saying, here's a great rate. You do it, commit. No, they're not like that. They're not going to push anything on you. They're going to give you the best options for you and let you sort it out. So Check them out today. You can hit them up again at dnvrmortgage.com, or you can call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578. Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. All right. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, crossover edition with PHNX. Having a good time in the Arizona studio. Are you boys excited for the rookie tournament here? Are you ready to get it going?
I just want to go to sleep.
I'm excited that it's here. Like that part is great. Like I've been to a few of these tournaments before, and I tell you what,
they're cool.
Yeah, they're cool, but you the expectations have to be tempered a little bit. Everybody wants to see that one or two player from their team, but you got to put 20 guys in the uniform, so you're filling it all with guys in PTOs and a lot of tryout guys that are not going to be part of your organization. It's hard. Like everybody wants to see Bo Byram. Like it's great. We're going to see Quentin Byfield, and we got, there are some really outstanding players here in the Valley for a couple of days. I wish we just watched those guys play 3-on-3, but it's exciting. The best part of it is hockey starting again. That's the exciting part. This is the beginning of the chase to the cup. So we're excited.
From a coaching staff perspective, what was always your guys' goal in this kind of setting?
It's hard, and you'll be surprised, specifically at this tournament, how few NHL coaching staffs are actually here this weekend. I've talked to several teams; they're not bringing in their staffs. I don't know if it's COVID related, travel related. I'm not sure. It's usually everybody goes. It's hard. Coaches are getting ready right now for October 12th, 13, 14, 15. They know what players are going to be on their team, or who, the general idea of the guys trying to make their team. And most often it's not the guys at this tournament. There might be one or two guys that will make to your tryouts or potentially make your team. This is a look more for scouts and management to go, okay, what's the development path for the guys in our organization? Yeah. Where are we looking next year, the year after, 3 years out? Coaches are looking, do they compete? Do they show up to stuff on time? Do they play hard? They're not going to know the systems. They're not going to play the right way through these 3 games because you don't have time to teach that.
We sat through the entire Avs dev camp stuff. Not once did they do a single second of systems work.
No, you can't. It's individual skill.
There was nothing.
They just want to see a kid work hard. That's really what they're coming here. Do you want to see the guys flash their skill a little bit? Of course.
Sure.
Of course you do. If you want to, you want your prospect to come out here and lead the tournament in scoring. That would be great. You just want them to work hard. And you go, okay, there's something there. But by no means does success at this camp translate to anything other than success at this camp. We've seen it from the Coyotes' perspective. They've won this tournament before. I mean, it's not about
very meaningful.
No, it's not about how the team performs. You're looking for those one or two players to play at a high level, to compete, and to show some of their individual skill. That's what coaches are looking for.
As a follow-up, getting a week ahead of this, but how real are training camp battles? So we're, from the Avs perspective, you were looking at the Avs roster and trying to figure out kind of what their depth chart was going to look like. We were talking about guys like Newhook and Maltsev, but going into a training camp, how much of that stuff is really decided and how much of it really is? Because we're talking about hey, 5 guys could make their 4th line this year. Yeah. Just because that's how it is. Last year, the roster was pretty much set. No surprises. But this year, a lot more uncertainty from us. Is that just more of a thing that just because we aren't in the room, or is it really decided, or are these battles for real?
Jared Bednar has a list of 5 lines on his board right now, ranked 1 to 5. They're there, and in his mind, it's going to take a lot of work to make a change to what he sees in his mind. Does it happen? Absolutely it happens.
Yeah, I mean, every year there's one guy, at least one guy that comes out of...
For sure.
That makes your team on opening night where you're just didn't see that happening.
At this stage in camp right now, and I can only speak to what we did in Arizona, you have so many preseason games. Those rosters are getting penciled in today. Okay, we got to get this guy in to game 1 or 2 because we want to cut him, and he's going to be gone. So let's get him in early. Okay, we don't want to put Shane Doan in a game now because he might get hurt. So let's put him at the end. So in their head... things are in light pencil right now. So when you might say you have 3 spots open, there might be one. But in the coaching staff's mind, it's this guy's job to lose. Whether you come in Arizona, you talk about Barrett Hayton. Barrett Hayton had a spot to lose his first year in here. It was his spot, even though you don't publicly say, everybody's got to fight for their spot. Coaching staff have an idea of what they envision this roster to look like. Daniel Winnick, and I know that's going way back, and most hockey fans don't know who Daniel Winnick even is.
He's a Colorado boy too. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they should know.
Quite familiar with Winnick.
He came into his first training camp, and back then Wayne Gretzky was the coach, and Wayne didn't split the 3 teams evenly. He had 1 and 2 were the guys that were going to play. Team C, I don't want to see him. I don't want to practice with them. They're not a part of this. Daniel Winnick started off day 1 on Team C, of day 1 of training camp, and he was on our opening night roster on the ice. So it can happen.
So you say it's this guy's spot to lose, and they do lose them.
They do, and they do, and you can. And again, in training camp, it's more about how you prepare, how you work. If you come in out of shape, you just took a step backwards. And coaches now, it's not 99, 2000 where you get in shape in camp.
Sure.
And they did back then. And I'm telling you, that's how it was. Now, these athletes train year round. It's protein shakes, it's vitamins, it's kale. They come in ready to play, and the guys that don't are behind. And that's where you can lose a step in training camps if you're not ready to play.
Is that the first thing you look at?
Absolutely. They'll go into the gym test, and they'll go into the gym, get all of their tests done, their VO2s, their body fat. That sits on the coach's desk, and they go through it, and they look for those red marks. Who's not up to snuff? Who's not in shape? And those guys will be in the office that afternoon. And it's, again, it wasn't 20 years ago. It is now. And now, okay, you weren't going to play those first 3 preseason games, you 10-year vet. You came out of shape. You're playing game 1. You're going to play all 6 of them now because you didn't come in prepared and ready to play.
So in Colorado, Erik Johnson usually plays like the first game. Is that could a guy like that who has that sort of respect in the room and that veteran-ness, is that something he can just ask to do? Be like,
that's a two-way street. Like Shane Doan never wanted to play those first 2.
Yeah,
I don't want to play them. There are other guys that say, yeah, I want to play. I want to get into the rhythm of the season. Again, I don't know their room. That, to me, at his stature in that locker room, that's his call. Like, I want to play that game. I want to get up and running. I've had it, when you look at how many games he played, 4 games last year, I would anticipate he's going to play a lot of preseason games.
Yeah.
He's got to play.
Fun story. A couple years ago, they played the first preseason game, and Timmons, it was Timmons' rookie year.
Yeah.
And after that game, I went to talk to EJ, and he said, no, talk to him. And he was talking about Timmons.
Oh, wow.
And he said, that was our best player tonight.
Classy
First preseason game.
See, that's a piece. I don't know him at all, but that's the kind of player. We talk about all the intangibles, and we talked at the start of the show, all of the things that need to add up to win the cup. Those kind of things are the things that you need within a locker room, the intangibles to help you get there.
And I would say that as a follow-up, this is why the Avs are not buying out Erik Johnson, because they love the person.
Yeah.
They love the person. If they can get the player healthy, they're happy.
Yeah.
But he's no longer needed the way that he was.
Yeah, he can't eat the minutes.
As a player. But in terms of the person that he is and the accountability that he brings every day, he's always been one of the best quotes because he's very honest. If he has a bad game and you go and you talk to him, he'll tell you, I played like shit. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why he's so important to their
success. Is he healthy
success.
now, as far as you know?
He is, yeah. We've seen him on ice at the captain's practices. There was some question. It took him some time over the summer to get healthy, but it looks like he's out there and going full bore. Obviously, when camp comes around, we'll find out for sure. But to my eye, he looks like he's good to go.
And that's the other piece about Dev Camp is you look at these guys right now. The majority of the players out here on the ice over the next 3 or 4 days are 19 to 22.
Yeah.
And no matter how sharp and how good and how strong and how fast they look over the next 3 days, next week they're going on the ice with McKinnon and Landeskog and Makar.
We had this conversation. Yeah. The way the Avs do it is they have their dev camp practice and then the captain's practices with the actual NHL guys right after. And it's 2 completely different universes when you look at those 2 one after the other. It's just
it was very startling to watch the NHL team come out and all of these guys are just out there flying around.
Yeah.
And this is a little different speed.
Yeah, and you
Dude.
know what? They will say that in the same space that you're going to go to and watch practices tomorrow is where the Coyotes veterans would skate, and they'd walk by those dev camps and they say, "Wait till next week."
Yeah.
Wait till next week, kid. Okay, you're the big deal today. Wait.
Yeah, it was interesting watching Alex Newhook watch the captain's practices because it's like you'll be there next year.
I'm excited to see him play. I really am.
Yeah,
I want to see what he can bring to this roster, and he's the guy that you talk about those surrounding cast people that need to fit in a spot. I'm not sure where he's going to fit on the roster, but I think he's a talented hockey player that can help this team. It's just where do you fit?
Yeah,
like if he's not top 6, is he a bottom 6 player?
Well, so they've got the Brandon Saad spot is open.
Yeah,
and he played left wing for them during the postseason last year.
Yeah,
the easiest thing to do, put him there.
Yeah.
But they're playing him at center at this camp. They drafted him as a center. They envision him long-term as a center. Do you blow a rookie year playing him left wing because that's where it's convenient for the roster?
Right.
Because then if you do that, then you just have to kick the can down the road of him learning all the center position things.
Yeah.
And the longer you do that, you end up where the Avs have been with Tyson Jost, where they tried to make him a center at first. It didn't work out. They moved him around a lot. He never really had a role. He never really had a consistent position. Once he did last year, his game took off. Yeah. Imagine that. So I think there are lessons for them to learn from the Jost development that it might be tempting to play Newhook in that left wing spot right away, but it could be doing some long-term damage to them if they really envision him as a center. And genuinely, how much does Jared Bednar care?
Yeah.
Because he's trying to he could be coaching for his job this year.
Yes.
Is he worrying about Alex Newhook's career trajectory as a center? Or is he just saying he's the guy that can help me the most at left wing right now? That's the position I'm putting him in. I don't care about the rest of that.
And I think you've both seen it. If you want to win in this league, you need to be strong up the middle. And if you're weak up the middle, you can have all the nice wingers and defensemen. If you're not strong in the middle, you can't defend and you can't score. Vegas. You've got to be strong up the middle of the ice. And Arizona Coyotes have not been strong up the middle of the ice year after year after year after year. And Christian Dvorak just got traded. One of the few centers they did have. I tried to put their roster down on paper. I don't know who's going to take the faceoffs. They don't have anybody in the middle. So Colorado is so strong up the middle that everybody has a role up the middle of the ice. That's important. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I can see Newhook starting on the wing. I can.
I mean, that's where Rudo and I have kind of had him penciled in.
You want him to be your fourth line center
all off season, but it's also, do you want to play him? They may not. The one thing that we haven't really talked too much about that I think we've overlooked a little, they may not think that Tyson Jost is a set and forget center.
Right. You're right.
They might put Alex Newhook in that third line center spot because that's a popular place to put talented rookies. Yeah. You can kind of protect him a little bit. He learns the game. He figures out the details. He gets comfortable with the speed at the center position. And then eventually he moves up. Now, the thing with Colorado this year is that because of McKinnon and Kadri, there's nowhere for him to go. If you start him there and you insist on playing him at center, he's there. Yeah. And then you're probably going to give up some of the defense because that's where Jost was great last year. And then the question becomes, is Jost now your 4C? Did you just give him a 2-year, $2 million extension to be your fourth-line center? Yeah. When you could have had Belmar for $1 million, even though Belmar's bad now?
It is all about fits, and we talked about what coaches are thinking leading into the beginning of the season. They are thinking, and you'll see it in the media coming up over the next few weeks. Oh, these guys are going to play together. They're going to be great together. We got him to play with this guy. This is how this lineup's going to look. And by game 2, it's gone.
Is the best part.
100%.
It's what you do for 3 months. It's the offseason.
And game 2, it's over. It's over.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so so wherever he starts game 1, Alex Newhook may be in a different spot by game 3, 5, 10, 12.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I hate to rush us, but do have more work to get to. I'm sure AJ's got to get to sleep. So, you guys got any final thoughts? Avs, Yotes, rookie tournament, any of that stuff to wrap it up?
I'm just excited for the games, actual games, man. Starting tomorrow.
I'm just looking for individuals. I want to see some individual, skilled, talented hockey players. And Rudo, next time, can we get all 3 of us in studio? Maybe I'll fly to Denver.
Yeah. Next time I'm coming out there to be in the studio. It's going to happen.
Next year's tournament will be in Denver. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Are the Avs up next?
I think LA is.
I believe AJ will be on the Coyote show tomorrow.
That is correct.
So,
He's
be
in
sure to check
studio,
that
and
out.
I get to do my first at-home show. Can't wait.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, there
excited.
you go.
Yep.
So this should be a blast. If you haven't checked out PHNX yet, be sure to. They're awesome over there. Petey, I'm super looking forward to collabing on some video stuff with an actual NHL video coach. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to do it. So
I'm
thank you,
excited, man.
everyone.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
let's do it. Thank you for watching, listening, however you consume the pod. We appreciate all of y'all so very much. We are out of here for today. Avs rookies do play tomorrow. We'll have the post game up for you Saturday morning for that one. Beyond that, we love all y'all, and we will see you on the next one.